It's season 4 here at On the Path, and we're having a blast, but we're about to take this party to the next level. I invited a heavyweight. She actually, check this out. That's right, y'all. The one and only Erica Campbell, one half of the powerhouse that is Mary Mary. Y'all know Shackles. Now blazing a trail as a solo artist. We're talking 4 Grammy Awards, NAACP Image Awards, 2 American Music Awards, Stellar Awards, Dove Awards, the list goes on. And now she's blazing a trail as an actress. I sit down with the one and only Erica Campbell, and we talk about her life. We talk about the rock bottom moments of her life, the phone call that changed her life, and what she's learned coming out of it. You do not want to miss probably the most encouraging, inspiring conversation I've had. She is a absolute powerhouse. Available on all podcast platforms. Stream it into the castle. Watch it on Yes TV, and I will see you on the path.
You're listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard, brought to you by Fight for Freedom. Follow Cheryl Nembhard on all social media platforms.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Path. I am so excited to have you with me. As I always say, with us, we are in the classroom of life, y'all. We are learning not just from our mountaintop experiences, because that's great and good, but we learn in the valley, in the rock bottom moments of our life. It's in the trials of our lives that we are shaped and we are strengthened. And we have amazing storytellers and teachers along the way who are willing to share from the lessons of their life. And let me tell you, if we have had teachers, we have a university professor at this point. We have someone who has been through a journey of God's hand and has seen the ups and the downs. And I would consider her an absolute warrior. She is resilient in so many ways. And actually, it was one of the first things I said to her when I had the privilege of meeting her. We bumped into each other. I won't say where, but we bumped into each other. And I told her that her resiliency is what moved me the most. I can't wait for you to hear about our next guest. We have the one and only Erica Campbell in the building. And let me tell you about her if you don't know who she is. I would say you're living on a rock, but you know what? All love, you will get to know who she is here in Canada. She is a multi-award winning gospel artist. She's a speaker and a songwriter who in recent years has added actress to the list. Can't wait to talk about that. And many of you have been tracking with her since 1998 when she and her younger sister, Tina, formed the powerhouse gospel group Mary Mary. Oh, now it's ringing some bells, I'm sure. Since 2013, Erica has gone solo, and she has been blowing up the charts since then. She's been nominated and has won multiple awards, including Stellar Awards, the Dove Awards. She's won 4 Grammys, multiple NAACP Image Awards. The list goes on, 2 American Music Awards, and she is just getting started, y'all. But if you ask her, above all these things, she'll tell you what matters most to her is that she's a loving wife and a loving mother, and she is putting family first. And that's another reason why I love her. Would you please put your hands together for the one and only Erica Campbell?
Hello, hello. Gosh, what an
Erica,
introduction. Goodness gracious. Thank you for that.
uh, let me tell you, straight goods, I practiced that for years. I was like, if I ever get her on the show, we're going to go all out.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
I know that you've been asked this next question 1,000 times, and I hesitate to ask you this because I'm going to be like the 1800th person. But I'm absolutely convinced that the answer has deepened over time and has changed because of what you're going through. So I am going to ask it in this season. When you hear the word worship, what does worship mean to you now?
Mm.
And what would you say to anyone that's stumbling, watching this or listening that is just struggling
Mm.
to connect to God in that way?
For me, worship allows me to take my eyes off of me and put it on Him. Um, Worship allows me to lavish my love on the Father, to get in His presence and be as broken as I need to be, as broken as I am
Mhm,
sometimes.
mhm,
And He gets it, you know. He never says, "Go clean yourself up and then come back and worship." I can bring all my junk and lay it at the feet of the Father. And in worship, I forget that it's there, especially when you really plug in, because a lot of time we use worship as a tool, and I think the Father understands that. I think He understands when our hearts are crying out. Um, but sometimes it's like, whether you do it or not, I know you can. Whether it's fixed or not, I know you're capable, and so I'll praise you for that. I'll glorify you for that. I'll exalt you for your goodness, for your creation, for making me, for sacrificing your life for me. I'll worship you for that. And until I see whatever it is, I'm not here to ask you for anything. I just want to sit at your feet. I just need your presence. I just need your power. I need
Yeah,
your love. I
Erica,
just need to
so
feel
good.
you. And it becomes so
Yeah.
therapeutic and healing, um,
Mm.
in places of worship, and empowering too. So we just had this prayer, praise, and testimony service at our church. And then after that, Saturday night, Sunday morning service was explosive. And I promise you, it was like Monday and Tuesday. And I felt like, okay, Jesus, okay, I need to come down now.
Wow.
I just felt this spiritual high like all day long. I was telling my husband after service was over, I was like, is this what you feel after you preach? And he said, sometimes Jesus doesn't let you go. And he just holds on. And it's so sweet and so good. And so for anybody
Mm.
who struggles, you know,
Yeah,
with worship, you know what I mean? I don't know what to say, just get in his presence and let him do
mm,
what he does. There was a
that's
moment
good.
in that Sunday service when God was moving and I kept going, "Yeah," because I was looking at what was happening in the room. I was watching the room transform right before my eyes. I was seeing people who I'd never seen worship or lift their hands and cry, and I was going, "Yeah, go Jesus. Do it. Do your thing in this room, Jesus." It was there I go with my street language for the Father, but I mean, he gets it.
I love it. Love it. Wow. I love that. And has it ever been hard for you, I wonder, in those times? So here's someone who is literally their entire ministry is to lead generations and nations of people into worship.
Oh, yeah.
What
Oh,
does it
yeah.
look like for you when you have not been able to find that connection?
It looks like this.
For those that don't see, she's just standing there with her hands just straight up.
With the what
Yeah.
when is it gonna change? I'm lifting my hands because 'cause I'm supposed to.
Wow.
I don't feel a thing, but in obedience to you, Father, I will lift
Mm,
my hands. I feel like
mm.
this is unfair what I'm going through. I feel like I've been working for you my whole life. Everything should be
And
right.
that's real. And
But
that's so real.
I'm gonna lift my hands. And I remember
Yeah.
being in a church service, and it was one of those days where, my lips are pursed and turned to the left and my hands are up. And I'm like, Lord, can you just let me feel something, please? Anything but this? And I felt the Father hit me from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. I really did. And I knew in that moment that everything would be okay. And that's what I held on to until it got
Mm.
to the joy, until it got to the better. It's not better yet, but it will be. And that's usually my answer when people ask, "Are you okay?" I'll go, "No, but I will be." I remember when we found out my husband had cancer, and it was right before we were making, the sound record, with "Go Get It" and
Goodness.
"God and Me" and all these songs, and,
Yes.
he called and gave me the news, and the lady at the counter asked me what was going on because I went to my knees on the floor. I literally hit the floor when he told me the doctor said I had cancer.
My goodness.
And she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, but I will be." Like, even in that moment of the worst news I could ever hear in my life, my answer was from my soul, "No, but I will be." And it's okay to not be okay.
Mm,
God doesn't get bothered when you say, "I'm just not happy right now. This doesn't feel good. I'm tired of this. I'm overwhelmed. My heart is broken." My goddaughter, who's 27, just lost her 5-year-old son. He had a seizure and an asthma attack. And he was a little
I'm so
preacher
s-
that loved to praise God all the time.
I'm so
And
sorry.
she has worshiped her way through she has prayed her way through this. So I know it works. I know it works. I've seen God do it, but you've got to trust him. You gotta trust him.
So thankful. Yeah, you got to trust him. And I just wanted you to just say that one more time because that to me is a life changing word. Before you get to joy, you just get to the knowledge that it's going to be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that someone was blessed by that. I know I was. That is literally, there is someone that needed that exact word. And I'm sensitive here, and I just feel the Holy Spirit, and I don't even want to transition just yet. So I'm gonna go to the next question and jump back to the other one.
Okay.
I always say, Erica, that the storms in our life, we're talking about like what happens in the storm, in
Mhm,
the rock bottom moments of our lives. I
mhm.
always say, when I preach and speak, that the storms of our life are our greatest teachers. We
Yes.
learn the most, right? They will teach you who God is. You don't know really, you could sing about it, pray
Mhm,
about it, teach about it, but until you have empty cupboards and
mhm.
see God provide,
Yes.
until you have a loved one, as you said, or you yourself are on the sick bed and you see God sustain,
Yeah.
that's when that word healer, roha, becomes something so different and,
Ooh,
and concrete.
yes.
It'll also teach you about others. This is the thing I love about storms. I always say, if you want to know who your friends are, you want to know who your tribe is, go through a massive crisis and
Mhm,
just watch. And just watch what happens, sis,
mhm.
and see who's galvanizing around you and
Yes.
who's dropping off the grid. And then the last thing it teaches you is about yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't know how strong you are until you go through a storm. You don't know the resilience, as you said, that
Yeah.
you have. And so, all of that to ask, what have the rock bottom moments you've been sharing, quite a few,
Mhm,
what have they taught you about God? What have they taught you about Erica?
mhm.
And what have they taught you about others?
I think in storms and trials, you learn who you really are. We say who we are, right? And we post who we are, and we tell people who we are, and we testify. But you
Right.
don't really know the level of strength you have until you've been tested, until you're carrying heavy weight. I
Yeah.
remember I was struggling with fibroids for quite a few years, and I was singing, and I'd be on
Wow.
stage, and I'd be praying for strength because I'd literally feel like I was about to pass out. And I'm like, God, I'm singing for you. Like, I'm anemic. I'm having to get blood transfusions. My legs hurt when I walk
Oh,
upstairs, and I'm supposed to sing God in Me and all these songs that require dancing and jumping.
oh my
I was like,
goodness.
Lord, if you don't heal me, I can't do this. I can't work for you if you don't heal me. I went to a service, and this lady was telling her testimony about how God healed her. And when she shared her testimony, I said, Father, if you just extend the same grace to me that you extended to her, I'll give you praise and I'll testify about it. If you just extend the
Mm.
same grace to me that you extended to her, I promise you, I'll encourage someone else who's going through this storm. And so I was praying that God would heal me, God would heal me, God would heal me. Um, and it got worse before it got better. And so I said, Lord, I'd had 2 fibroid surgeries. And I was like, Lord,
Oh my gosh.
can you just let this thing like fall out of my body? Like, I don't want another surgery. So I go to the doctor, and yeah, I mean, don't mean to be graphic. And she's doing the exam, and she said, it's like this thing is trying to fall out of your body. She said it's hanging on to a vein that is twisted and stopped the blood from flowing, so that's why you haven't had your flow. She said, "But I want you to go across the street and they'll just snip it and it's done." And I didn't have to, that was the end of it. And I
Wow.
never had any problems after that. But all the while, I'm still ministering, I'm still singing, I'm still serving at my
Right.
church, still serving in women's ministry, still singing on the worship team, still doing all those things. I was in choir rehearsal and I was singing and I got lightheaded and I said, "Just bring me a chair." And I sat down and they were going, "First lady, are you okay?" And I was going, "No, but I will be." But I was like, "Lord, I'm here. Hey, if you don't tell me to sit down and lay down, I'm going to keep working for you. And I'll just believe that you are going to heal me." And he did. He did.
Yeah.
But I had to
My
trust him through that.
goodness.
And I didn't stop.
Mm,
I kept serving him while I
mm.
was waiting on my healing. And
Wow.
and he did it.
Wow. And what did you learn about yourself during that time? Was there anything that surprised you about you in that moment?
that I didn't quit because I wanted to. Because those,
Mm.
when there's something wrong with your body, you feel broken.
Yep.
You feel off. You feel like there's something wrong with me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I wanted to stop many times, all of it. Like I'm not going to church. I'm just gonna lay in this bed until it all gets better.
Yeah. Just white flag.
I'm done. And
Just
the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me. And even that felt unfair. I was like, other people get to
mm.
quit, other people.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
but
honest.
that wasn't my path. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, if you give me the strength, I'll go. If you give me what I need, I'll go. I always say, Father, give me what I need to be all that I need. Give me what I need to be what you've called me to be. And so if you tell me to go, even if I'm limping, I'll go. If you tell me to go, even if I'm uncomfortable and sometimes even in pain, I will go. So I learned that I can keep going. That's what I learned.
You learned right, right. You learned that you could keep man, that's so good that you can get back up again. I always say just get back up.
Absolutely.
And so you got back up and you went again. And I wonder, what's your word of encouragement for as in this topic for someone at rock bottom right
Mm.
now? What would you say?
Someone at the bottom, I would say, hold on to Jesus. I would say he's with you, even though it doesn't feel like it. Because your
Mm.
version of him being with you means rainbows and flowers. And sometimes his version of being with you means valley, you know? It means stony ground. Yea, though I
Oh,
walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right?
come
I
on.
will fear no
Come
evil.
on.
You're walking through. He's with you in the valley. You're there not because you're forgotten, but because there's purpose in the valley. There's something you're going
Come
to learn in the
on.
tough times, in the brokenness that
Yes.
feels embarrassing and you don't want anybody to know what's going on because you feel
Yes.
humiliated. But if you stay with God in that storm, if you realize the
Yes.
rock of your salvation is Jesus Christ and not anything else, hold on to Him. Not any substance, no substitutes to escape and get away, but it is in worship and it is dedication to your prayer and fasting that will carry you through. I promise you. God's way gets God's results. You have to pick the cross over culture because culture says defend yourself. You have to choose
You
the
just
cross, and the cross is bloody, and there's splinters, and it's
goodness.
uncomfortable, and it's embarrassing to carry a
Yes.
cross in front of people. But if you choose the cross over the comfort of the culture, you gain the victory.
Mm. I'm so glad I brought my running shoes. I'm just gonna take a quick lap. I'll be right back.
Hallelujah.
let me let me do two Pentecostal laps right
Yes,
quick.
the Pentecostal,
Oh
absolutely.
my and can you hear it, guys? Can you hear the preacher coming out? Just unreal. The every you're just as soon as you drop something, I catch it. You drop something else. I'm having a time over here. I need to just calm down. It is everything. You are everything and more that I knew you would be. It's the oil. It's that pressed oil, the purest oil. You are moving and operating at a different level, Erica. I know you've heard. I mean, who am I to even say this little person over in Canada? But something has happened. Your mantle has shifted. The anointing on your life has elevated, and
Hallelujah.
I, for one, am just saying more. God, more. Do it.
Wow.
Um, I want to begin to wind down. We've talked about some real heavy things. I want to talk about a little bit of a mountaintop. We can go to the mountaintop a little bit.
Yes.
I want to talk about this incredible new sort of like chapter of your life and this powerful new movie called Pride,
Yes.
Seven Deadly Sins, executive produced by Bishop T.D. Jakes. It's now airing on Lifetime, guys. Go watch it, go see it. It's unreal. The reviews are incredible. I want to know, Erica, what was that experience like for you doing that? And do you feel like this is a new chapter for Erica Campbell?
Well, I can definitely feel God opening doors for me. I actually did a lot of acting. I was in a lot of stage plays, and there's a movie or two sprinkled in over the times. But recently, the calls have kind of been coming, and I'm super grateful for it. And again, it goes back to, Lord, I'll walk through any door you open for me. And I believe when He gives you something, even if you're not using it now, sometimes it's a different season of your life that God decides to use you in this space. And so I'm just grateful that He's opening the doors and having a lot of fun. I actually am in
So good.
Atlanta because I just filmed season 2 of Kingdom Business. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So, I'm just having fun with it, acting, and it's pretty cool. I'm grateful for it.
I love it. Is it getting easier as you go, do you find?
No, I'm always nervous. I always have to dial myself back. I always have to go, okay, relax. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
called you because you're capable, so I always have to
Absolutely.
do all those things.
Absolutely. And you're an absolute natural. I would have thought that you had done like serious acting lessons. Like it's just it naturally flows out of you and you're convincing in the characters and I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited for what God's doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that, I'd love to know like anything we can look out for, anything that's coming up that you want to hint to that Canada could just be waiting, chomping at the bit to see and listen to.
Well, I'm not sure when Kingdom Business comes out, but as you said, Pride is out. My new song, Feel Alright Blessed, is doing well. You can stream that. Along with my song
Yes.
Positive, I'm working on my new album, and that's coming later this year. And I'm going on tour. I don't know that Canada's on the list, but we should probably put Canada on the list.
Boo.
Um,
Yes,
and
please.
come there. But yeah, my daughter's in college, her first year at Spelman in Atlanta. My 2 youngest are doing
Wow.
great. My youngest is a dancer, and my son is playing in the youth orchestra of Los Angeles. So they're doing well. The
Wow.
church is doing well. My husband's doing well. God is so, so good. God is so good. So I'm just appreciative and, just really being attentive to what he wants me to do. Because, in the good
Yeah.
seasons, sometimes it's good to take it's easy to take everything. And I'm like, no, Lord, I still only
Yeah.
want what you have designed for me. I only want to walk through the doors that
Yeah.
you have opened for me. And so
Right.
just keeping my ear to the heart of the Father as to, what else is coming in this next season.
Oh, guys. Well, I just it's been an incredible time. As we wind down, I've got one last surprise question for you. I didn't send it to your people. I know you're good for it. I love to do this. Every guest, I ask this question, and the answers have never been duplicated. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
But before I ask that, I just want to encourage everyone to go stream. Feeling positive. Go stream. It's blessed. It's
Yes.
called.
It's called Feel
Yes,
All Right, Blessed.
feel all right, blessed,
Mhm.
and watch Pride on Lifetime. Let's get behind Erica and support anything that she's putting out. She is one of the real ones, one of the authentic ones in the kingdom, and we're just so thankful for your ministry. Well, okay, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, this one's easy, super easy. All you have to do is finish the sentence. That's it.
Okay.
So, kind of in light of our conversation and all of the encouragement you've been giving us, all the lessons you've learned along the way, answer any way you feel led. Finish this sentence. Erica, it's time for what?
Hmm.
It's time for what?
I would say, Erica, it's time for more. And that may sound strange to someone because I do a lot. Um, but I feel the push of God and I'm excited
Mm,
about it because if God believes in me, then I should believe in me. And whatever He's
mm,
telling me to do has purpose, has destiny, has provision, and has everything that I need. I was in a service the other day, and that was the word they kept saying more. There's more than you expect, more than you've imagined. And so I
love
am
that.
excited about more.
I love that. Okay, I'm gonna flip it on you. Now, this one's for us. You preach
Yes.
hard now. What is it not time for? Speak to us. What is it
Mm.
not time for?
It's not time for overextending yourself. It's not time to play God in people's lives. It's not time to quit. It's not time to carry other people's burdens. It's time to care without carrying it to the extent that it weighs you down and then you can't walk in purpose. Um, it's time to say yes. Um, it's time to recalibrate. Jesus is really coming back, and we've really got to tell people that he's coming. So it's just It's not time to sit back and be polite with your loved ones. It's time to get in and
Mm.
get your hands dirty, you know, to help people to get to their level of freedom and their level of deliverance and their level of victory. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Well, we've ended our trail walk, our coffee chat. I feel like we were in a beautiful, beautiful setting, just walking and talking. You are such a beautiful teacher, and you teach out of your life. You teach out of your wounds. Please, please continue to do so. We need it. We need authenticity out here. There's too much of fake. And I'm just so glad that there's someone that is just so real till it hurts. And I just bless you. Thank you for being on the path with us.
My pleasure to be on the path with you.
Wow. I can't even begin to tell you how much this conversation blessed my life. I'm sure you heard it, all the oohs, all the ahs. You heard me just talking over her. I was so excited with everything that she was saying. This is a woman who has lived out her life publicly and has not withheld any of those lessons. I'm so thankful for Erica Campbell for taking the time to be with us on the path and sharing out of the stories and the lessons from her life. I hope that you were encouraged. I hope that you were blessed. And I'm taking this one away, that before I can find joy, that before I can get to the place of joy, sometimes the first step is just remembering that God has me, that God's got this. I may not be good now, but I know that I will be. Goodness, I don't know where you are in your situation, but I pray that you grab a hold of this truth and that you know that God is in the midst of your situation. He is working it out for you. And it may not feel like it now, but know that God's got you. Well, until then, guys, keep living, keep learning, keep loving, and let's keep worshiping God through it all. I'll see you on the path.
You're listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard, brought to you by Fight for Freedom. Please like, download, and subscribe. This has been an Exousia Media production.